We have an amazing first-hand look at what is actually happening on our southern border. While you are sleeping at night, we have tape of exactly how illegal immigrants are crossing our border. This comes from a documentary film made by a man called Dennis Michael Lynch. He was on Hannity last night with some of the amazing footage
on Huckabee,
that he has put together. Watch this.
Now there are Border Patrol, tons of them, in that preserve trying to apprehend the families that are coming across. Move over to the right. You'll see this park. It's completely empty. But today, before 5 o'clock, it was filled with Border Patrol and constables. Where they've gone, I have no idea. It's completely empty. And this is what scares me to death. Over there, you have Mexico, and that's the Rio. And you can see the lights on the cars. Those are all scouts. And there are little dinghies, and they've got little boats that are coming across and wave runners, and they keep on going back and forth. And that wave runner is bringing over drugs, and it's bringing over people. So while we're over here trying to get families, we've got everything dangerous coming through on the right.
And it just looks kind of wide open, right? So a lot of people, a lot of Americans wondering, how has the southern border become such a sieve in the first place? How are we so easily able to funnel all these people through? You heard Governor Huckabee yesterday talking about border agents being stationed about 45 miles away from where they're supposed to be doing their work in the first place. Hector Garza, he was down there talking about exactly what is happening and why these are so wide open. Take a listen to Hector.
Approximately 70% of the Border Patrol agents have been reassigned for administrative duties, and those duties include the processing of aliens, caring for aliens, transporting aliens, and it's leaving a very porous border in our country. The reason that these aliens are crossing through the river to our border in the Rio Grande Valley sector in the Laredo area is because the cartels know that they're going to tie up our Border Patrol agents with these illegal aliens, with these family units, with these children. And at the same time, they'll be able to cross their dangerous drugs and those dangerous criminals that don't want to get apprehended.
It's unbelievable. Let me put it this way. If this wasn't helpful to the Democratic Party, this massive immigration that we've had for many years now, do you really think the Obama administration would put up with this? Do you think they wouldn't shut down this border? The same people who tell you, oh, a border wall doesn't work, are the same ones to admit immediately that the border wall in Israel has worked great. It saved the Israelis a lot of deaths. A lot of terrorism has been prevented by that wall. But the border wall here, no, that's not totally unacceptable. And the reason, of course, is, again, these are voters.
Jon Voight, you know, actor Jon Voight, a few years ago he was on the Huckabee show and he made some predictions about the Obama administration and how it would handle certain situations in this country. Well, Jon Voight made an appearance last night on Huckabee. He came prepared with his thoughts on exactly what has gone wrong in this country. Take a listen.
Let us not forget the unspeakable way our veterans have been ignored and many left to die in many of our veteran hospitals. Let us not forget the IRS scandal. Does he think that the American people are stupid? And his newest and latest destruction, which you've just seen on the show, encouraging and allowing millions of poor illegal children from Central America who will be a great burden monetarily for our country, and they are already spreading tuberculosis, scabies, and chickenpox and putting our own children at risk of catching these diseases. And this very serious influx has been brought about not to benefit the young immigrant children, but in order to benefit the Democrats in the 2016 election.
It's amazing. You know, you had Hector Garza saying that the reason we can't patrol our borders is because all of our border agents are so busy processing, feeding, transporting these illegal immigrants.
Right.
And then we also heard from Congressman Jim Bridenstine last night. Yesterday he was on Fox. He's going to be on Fox during our show. He finally got to see what one of these facilities looks like inside. He went to Fort Sill. He said all of his concerns were validated, saw lots of diseases, saw even a chart, a board put up with all the diseases listed and the number of children or number of illegals that had these diseases. He said that many of the kids had been abused, many of them were trafficked. Professionals are working hard to get those diseases under control, and he said the people who are working inside, the Americans, the healthcare workers, are doing a great job. But we're going to hear from him.
Well, how is this good for America? I mean, if every decision the government made were evaluated just on the basis of that one question, we'd be in much better shape. Is this good for the country? There's no way you could argue this is good for the country.
Well, you mentioned the Democrats. Many Democrats think so because it's going to change the voter base in Texas, A, and B. more people will go to the Catholic Church. We were talking about this earlier, that many people believe that the Catholic Church is encouraging this because they want to help the needy, but also they want more individuals going to church, and that most of the folks in South America are Catholic. So anyway, all right, here's what's happening in the news this morning.